Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dreamy Pisces back to do a quick video. So I decided that I wanted to step outside of my box and I wanted to try to grow some vegetables or grow something. I said that before 2018 is over, this was earlier this year, that I was going to try to grow something, some sort of a plant, because I'm a very natural person, but I've just never gotten into gardening. So I said I was going to do that. That was my goal, and I did that. I was successful at that. So I wanted to just share a little story about me trying to grow some basil. Now, I've tried to grow something else before that. I tried to grow some flowers. They did not bloom at all. So I went out and bought some sweet basil seeds, got my potting soil, my container, and I was growing this inside of a croissant container. Like you know how you get plastic containers from the grocery store that come with different types of food, like spinach containers, but I use those as my pots. Anywho, I was so surprised some couple months ago to see that my babies had started to blossom. They started growing. I saw a little green. I was super excited. Made me feel really good. So I just tried to take care of them, give them sun. I did not research my basil, how you're supposed to take care of it. I did not research anything. I was just winging it, really. So I really just learned a lesson on gardening this summer. So next year I'm going to be prepared. Next year I'm going to start right after, I guess, that last frost, when the weather is starting to shift around April or May, instead of waiting until like June or July to plant something. But the basil, that when it started to grow, it was like I came up with a metaphor. The basil was growing, and that's like a growth within ourselves. We plant these seeds, and if you plant the seeds and if it's in fertile ground, something should grow. Now, I thought I was doing my best to take care of my basil, but I guess I wasn't. I left my basil out in the sun, and all it took was one day of inconsistency. This one day I did not move the basil out of the sun, and sadly my babies have shriveled up. So I want to show you some photos and some videos of my little babies, and they look horrible now, but they were vibrant and green and beautiful, and it really just made me think about life. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and insert some photos so you can see what happened. Check them out. My little babies, they started sprouting. This was in June, I believe it was June of this year, early July, and I was very happy with what was happening, the growth. And like I said, to me, these basil, they represented my life, how seeds have been planted on fertile ground, watering them, giving them sunshine, and life started to sprout. So I was feeling really good about the fact that they were growing. And to my surprise, they took off very fast. They started growing and getting bigger and more beautiful and vibrant. Oh my gosh, I was so excited about the growth, just like my own personal growth within myself. Then one day I would go out there and look at this. Oh my God, beautiful, so beautiful. And I felt like I had never, really read about gardening. I had not watched many videos about gardening. I just did it. I just did what was in my soul, and I ended up with some wonderful basil. But just like in life, if you're not consistent, if you don't take care of things, it one day can ruin everything. One mistake can ruin everything, and then you can end up with this. They burned up in the sun. Oh my God, I was so sad about this. My babies are all burned up. But I said, life is not over. Life is not over, because you can still see the green at the bottom. It's not over. So sometimes our life can look messed up and junky like this, like my basil. Life happens. Things happen. Heartache, hurt happens, but it's not over. So I could have just dumped this whole thing out and said, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to be done with it, because it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. It doesn't look right. But You have to be careful about throwing things out, because sometimes when you throw things out, you're throwing away possibilities. If you're getting up every day, there is a possibility of growth. Now, I had thrown some seeds into another pot, and I looked over in the pot, and look at that, a brand new baby basil is starting to sprout. Isn't that great? So it's not over. Life might suck, things might look grim, but there is always some new growth, some new birth, a birthing process that can happen. So don't give up.